Before we get into the how to do a campaign, it's important to know the different stages of a campaign and what that looks like. And then today I'm going to go through each step and how you prep for that and what you really need to know to make a difference in that. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to open it up for Q&A, which I think is probably the most important and relevant to you guys. But 3 stages of a campaign. We have a pre-launch, which is if you are deciding to launch something in May, the pre-launch should happen 3 to 6 months before you launch. And that will be what are some things you need to do to create buzz or create awareness for your campaign prior to launching. I would say on average I would recommend 3 months of really solid preparation for it, but I've seen people take up to 6 months or even longer to do some of the things I'll get into. A campaign itself, once you launch, say May 1st, you have anywhere from 30 to 60 days to do your campaign. The best and most successful campaigns usually fall under the 34 to 42 day range as well, so just keep that in mind. It also varies based on if you're doing Indiegogo or Kickstarter. And then after, which is what a lot of project creators just don't prepare for, is you think all the work is in the campaign, but you forget that once you've collected thousands of dollars, you now have to actually do the project. You have to fulfill it and get into manufacturing, and that is just a beast of a chore. So this is tab block. Anyways, I'm going to get into the pre-launch. So pre-launch, as I said, is how you create buzz or awareness for your campaign. If you screw this up, and I've seen this happen a few times where I run a podcast where I interview successful project creators, and I've had many different people who've raised $500,000 or more. They've said that, okay, we either didn't have a lot of time to prep. So I've seen some campaigns like Ravian raised $1.3 million with only 2 weeks of pre-campaign planning before they launched. And they said that they barely had an email list. But then you get some campaigns like MyFold who raised $800,000 and they spent 6 months or longer building that email list. So what am I saying? I guess the main parts of having a pre-launch is that you need to build awareness, and if it's product-based, the very first thing you have to do as soon as you know you're going to launch and you have an image of this thing is a landing page. So who here does not know what a landing page or a squeeze page is? Yeah, okay. So a landing page is a one-page website with only one purpose, and that's to collect someone's email address. So it is like an online storefront where they can't buy something, but it's a way for them to enter in their email address and go on a list to be notified as soon as you launch. Okay, and you can have that in your email signature, you can have that on your social media profiles, but at the end of the day, anytime someone's asking you what you're up to, you want to direct them to the landing page so that they can go onto your email list, and you start building a list of people who are interested in finding out when you launch. And the beauty of that is that if you collect 1,000 email addresses, or these are 1,000 people who are really interested to potentially buy your product. So the power in that is, I'm just going to do very high level with this, but the power with that is that as soon as you launch, you can email them saying, hey, we're offering early bird deals on this, make sure you pick up your unit today, and then they're going to be one of the first people to purchase. The other thing is you can educate them a little bit more and have conversations with them, and maybe some of these people will help you with feedback on your video, or if you want feedback on your prototype or whatnot. You have a community of people who are starting to become raving fans of your product, and it's really important to build that support ahead of time. And so building your email list is by far the most important thing you need to be doing for pre-launch. Why I say 3 to 6 months, because realistically, I would say the real push comes with 3 months in, but 6 months is when you need to start having conversations with people, because it does help shape your product and know your audience and that sort of thing. So keep in mind too that if you decide to ignore this, you don't know how much it's going to affect your bottom line, where if you just say you have a really good network of friends and as soon as you press launch, you have people who are ready to back you, that's great, but you may be missing out on thousands of dollars of other customers outside of your network. So if this is done properly, I've seen MyFold, they are like a car booster seat for children. It's not really I don't have kids, so, but it was a cool, innovative product, and they did the email list thing really well. And they raised $68,000 in a 10-minute period as soon as they launched. So that's the power in building your fan base early on. The other trick where I see we have maybe 3 people here who have done one Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign, you can use your existing customer list from campaign 1 to remarket to campaign 2 and campaign 3 as well. So keep that in mind, but build your email list. As soon as you have your landing page up, the next step 2 is social media. So set up social media accounts for your product, and make sure that on all of the About Me or the bio section, you have a link to your landing page as well. And you want to start building awareness on social media, even if it's just to connect with influencers in that space as well. One thing that works really well is if you have a really cool product. So TapLock, for example, it is a fingerprint padlock. We've discovered that our main users are between 30 and 50 years old, and they're fitness freaks. And they're generally about 90% male. So if we know what our average customer is, we can look for people who have that similar audience. So before we launched, contacted fitness bloggers, we contacted even like tech publications or anyone with relevancy to who our customer is, and we say, hey, we're launching this really cool product, we'd love your support through an affiliate commission or even a paid post to help us promote it when we go live. So these are the sorts of things you could do to have these conversations, and you could do that with a bit of a social presence. Generally, in terms of how many followers you need, in my opinion, I don't think you need many followers. You just need a good engaged email list, because as soon as you go live, you're going to get followers anyways, just from a validated launch. So, but don't skip out on the pre-launch and having conversations, because even if you don't build an email list and you ignore everything I just said, it's really great to have like a fan base, or even in your network, people knowing what you're doing, because you can get critical feedback that's going to help you shape your prototype or shape your messaging, or help you really understand who your customer is.